We're going to transition back to football, though, because we want to talk a little bit about the San Francisco 49ers, who, as we mentioned earlier in the show, had an upset loss to the Atlanta Falcons this past week. So that knocked them down to 11-3 on the season and actually puts them at the number 5 seed, strangely enough, in the NFC. So, Storm, do you think that they could actually make a Super Bowl run as a wild card team, having to go on the road 3 times to get to a Super Bowl?
I don't see it happening. And I think it's more or less on how much that travel is going to wear on them for 3 games. You look at it. I mean, you picked the Eagles to win. Obviously, they win the division. So if San Fran stays the 5th seed, you have to travel all the way, like literally all the way across the country to Philadelphia to play Philadelphia. You win, you go back. Then you might have to travel out to a Green Bay or maybe even a Seattle, depending on how everything happens. So you're kind of hoping to travel to Seattle, but say you do have to go to a Green Bay. You're traveling more there. And then you'd have to go back to play like Seattle again, but a New Orleans team perhaps. It's just a lot of wear and tear for a West Coast team like that. The injuries clearly showed a little bit there. Julio Jones had himself a day. He had 12 receptions, 2 touchdowns, obviously the game-winning touchdown with no time left. There's definitely some concern there. And, they do get it done with, that defensive line and stuff. But, man, if any quarterback has some time and they're able to slow, like if you play a team with a half-decent offensive line, that even goes to, like, Philly or Dallas, whoever wins the NFC. They both have good offensive lines. And Richard Sherman's not back yet. They could be in some trouble right off the bat.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I will say San Fran is the type of team that's kind of built to win tough games on the road in the playoffs. They're a run-heavy team, and they're excellent on defense. So that does travel well. However, you're right. That's a lot of travel. You got to think these are human beings, and traveling on an airplane that much takes it out of you. It's both physically and mentally exhausting. And
every game has the potential to be a time change.
Absolutely. And the places that they have to go, they're all some of the toughest environments to play in the NFL. So you mentioned Seattle, Green Bay, Philly or Dallas, and then New Orleans. Those are all extremely difficult places to win postseason games. So although I wouldn't totally rule them out, I'm with you. I would not have much faith that they would win even 2 games on the road like that, especially considering how talented the teams at the top of the NFC are. Now, I will say, I don't think that they're going to be a number 5 seed. I think that they go into Seattle in Week 17 and they win that game and they win the division.
Well, that's what I was just going to mention. Even if they go in, those 2 are going to beat each other's brains out that last week.
Oh, absolutely. Whoever gets the bye has a huge advantage.
Exactly. And then the other team, both teams have to travel, hopefully, to Philly. But
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, they're going to beat each other brains out and then travel.
It's just wild that a team in that division is like going to be 13-3, or I guess it would be 12-4, and be a number 5 seed. It just doesn't, especially because San Fran went so long with being undefeated. They were the last remaining undefeated team in the league, and now they're a wild card team. It's kind of nutty.
Well, yeah, they also have a tough schedule right now, and they haven't been really beating those tough opponents. So that goes, how good were they?
I still think they're pretty damn good. Yeah,
I agree. I'm just saying, like, you look at.
That's true. They weren't just the clear-cut favorite dominant team in the conference. I get that, and I do think, like you said, injuries are playing a role in that. I hope for their sake that they're able to get as close to fully healthy as they can before the postseason, because it would be a shame if they played like they have as an offensive and defensive units throughout the season, and then they don't have all their guys. It just kind of be disappointing.